if you are aligned with your partner, then sky's the limit. VAT is impacting our cash flow but not profitability, but corporate tax is impacting our profit. So compliance deadline is something you should always follow, because it will be a red flag in the system of the FTA. The mindset is same, the growth, passion, the ambition to do something, to achieve something, to grow year by year will remain the same.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the CEO Chronicles, and this time on our show I have someone whose journey I have witnessed myself. I was introduced to Earningo Accounting and Tax Consultancy around 6 years ago, and I have literally seen them grow from an office in Dera down up to Business Bay, and their growth has been phenomenal. The kind of clients they deal with, the kind of people they've helped out, and their journey has been exceptional. So today we're going to be interviewing Chirag Agarwal, who is the founder of this brand. This is his brainchild. So we're going to be talking about how did he grow his business? Second, everything about accounting, taxing, maintaining good books, proper records, and more importantly, handling compliance issues. So I'm not going to be wasting more time. Let's introduce Chirag Agarwal on the show. Hi Chirag, how are you?
Hi Diksha, I'm good. How about you?
I am doing exceptionally well. It's so good to see you.
Same here. It's my pleasure.
And like I said, I got introduced to Earningo. It's been about 5.5 years since we known the brand, and the journey has been phenomenal. I think you guys have really grown. How? Let's talk about how did you start Earningo? What inspired you कि मैं अपनी company खोलूं?
See, there were a lot of factors when we started this company, started this brand Earningo. So the first and the foremost factor was the identification of the gaps in our industry. So we found there were a lot of gaps. So to start with, we found there is a gap of turnaround time, which is called TAT, providing the right deliverables in the right time. So turnaround time was the biggest, clients were facing challenges. And because of that, there were a lot of issues in compliance and the deadlines. So turnaround time, then the right set of quality reporting, which is very essential, which would lead to, accuracy of the financial records. So these factors were there, of course. And also I had a passion, to start my own company wherein I would fulfill the need of the job for the needy people specifically. And initially we also, got some of the people in our company from very small towns, villages across India. And now we are also trying to do that in the near future as well. Because see, these people, when you talk about them, they are very passionate. They don't get the opportunity. So this was also one of my, passion when we started this company. And now also again, I have this passion which will continue forever till the time, we will continue this business.
See, starting a business is really easy, because I think what works in your favor is that you're an accountant, you're a chartered accountant, so you know your numbers well and so on. What is difficult is doing business with your life partner. So unlike many other accounting firms, where people have partnerships, you have your wife who is in your business and so. How has it been working with your partner? And how has your married life impacted your work and work impacted your married life?
Oh, wow. It's a very good question, actually. Not answered many times. This is the first time I'm going to answer this question.
Yay.
So, see, fortunately, the most important thing is the mindset, right? When you do a business, even with your partner, now my partner is my life partner as well. So the mindset should match. The vision should match. Mission should match. So these are few areas wherein if you are aligned with your partner, then, sky's the limit. So when we got married, of course, it was a love marriage, and we were aligned together. We both are chartered accountants. So 1 + 1 makes 11, right? Not 2.
Correct.
So that is something we have achieved because of Shikha, which is my partner as well as the business partner as well. Because the mindset is same, the growth, passion, the ambition to do something, to achieve something, to grow year by year will remain the same. So I think that is the most important aspect, to answer your question. And what was your second question? Which impact?
So I said, how does married life impact your business, and how does your business impact your married life?
Okay. So married life, I mean, of course, when you are working together, you always talk about work. So this is something, a kind of a con that, working together as a life partner as well as business partner. But I would say impacting marriage life, it again turns out to be in a brighter side because you have something to share in common.
Correct.
You can share your opinion, you can share your, frustration when you are overburdened, and you know each other very well, right? And business, of course, as I mentioned, the growth is because of, we are working together. And that was the plan from the beginning, that since we both are chartered accountants, so let's start something which will give leverage of our competency and capability.
So you had decided this before marriage itself, that we'll get married and then we'll start a business together? Or did it actually just come organically? You both obviously doing your jobs and decided that, no, let's leave and then let's do it.
No, I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur since, I qualified chartered, even before that, when I was, completed my high school. Because coming from the background of Marwadi's family, we always have an inclination towards, business and entrepreneur. But I always wanted to open a service consultancy, a training course or, financial advisory that we are doing right now. So that was the only motive because I'm good at it. I knew that if I would open a restaurant or, open a trading business, maybe I would not good at it. I know my skills. So, yeah.
How difficult has the growth phase been?
It was actually challenging for initial 2 years, I would say. It was very, very challenging because we started from scratch. And I was working, in India, I had a good experience in one of the top 10 firms. Then coming to UAE, I was working in one of the firms here to get the exposure. And then starting the business is a different ballgame altogether. And it was a challenging period, 2 years, because we didn't have a single client. We were the salespeople. We were the peon.
Yes.
We were the executors. Everything. We were doing the business development. We were managing the whole office. We too were there initially, of course. Then, step by step, we hired people, like-minded people. And then we, touch wood, we got very good clients, esteemed clients, which we are proud of. And giving them a good service, quality deliverables, which would, become a chain of clients. And by the references of the clients, right now, our biggest source of references is our existing client. Because we provide services, they all are retained clients and they refer us to their friends, family members. So we do not have, as of now, we do not have any business development people in our company. We have social media team, but we do not have any salesperson. And that is something we are proud to say because of our existing retention of the clients. And that is because of our quality services that we provide to our clients.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Coming to, Dubai has seen a very different phase in the financial industry, especially after VAT was introduced, because UAE was known to be a tax haven, we don't have taxes and stuff. Then VAT was introduced. Now, indeed, we have corporate tax that's being introduced. Now, how do you think it is impacting businesses globally? Is it discouraging foreign businesses from entering into the UAE market, making it perhaps more expensive for them to run a business here? What's the situation like now?
So as you said, yes, of course, there is a paradigm shift now from a tax haven to a commercial tax hub. If you see from 2017 onwards, there have been a plethora of compliances which have been implemented in the UAE, be it VAT, corporate tax or AML, then economic substance regulations, country by country reporting, now pillar 2 compliances. So all these compliances will continue to be there in the future as well. Now, to answer your question, of course, see, corporate tax is a direct tax, unlike VAT. VAT is an indirect tax, which will not impact the profitability of the business. VAT is impacting our cash flow, but not profitability. But corporate tax is impacting our profit. So till 2023 or till the first tax period of corporate tax, your profit before tax and profit after tax would remain the same, right? But during the first tax period and onwards, your profit after tax will be less by 9% or whatever effective tax rate, right? Which means you have less withdrawals for the company. Profit distribution would be less. Now, of course, it is impacting the business, but we have to understand the objectives behind the introduction of corporate tax. Once we understand the objectives, which are the objectives? There are two objectives. First is to prevent harmful tax practices, and second is to meet international tax standard framework.
Okay, let's elaborate. What are harmful tax practices?
So harmful tax practices could be, there are a lot of, where if you see there are a lot of shell companies, there used to be shell companies in the UAE where there is no substance.
Correct.
And there are a lot of revenue, but there is no substance. By substance, there are no adequate employees, adequate resources, adequate assets, expenditure, and so forth and so forth. But they have huge revenue. So which means shifting from high tax jurisdiction to low tax jurisdiction or tax havens like UAE. So all these, to curb all these anticipation factors. And of course, the second objective, to meet international tax framework, because in UAE, apart from UAE, all the developed and developing countries, there is a tax structure that UAE didn't have. So these two objectives are there to introduce the corporate tax. Now, I strongly believe, to answer your question now, how it will impact. It will not impact the business. Why? The reason is, see, the objective, if met, these two objectives, it would lead to business transparency. Ultimately, it would lead to sustainability of the business. And I believe this will easily be compensated by the increase in the profitability of the business, because if we meet these objectives, then the UAE economy will grow. And once UAE economy will grow, this 9% can easily be compensated. I mean, it's by increasing the profitability and enhancing the dimensions of the business growth.
See, I also feel that because it has been just introduced to us, we are feeling that it's 9%, it's so much. But in comparison to the rest of the countries in the world, 9% is still nothing.
Absolutely.
New Zealand has a 33% tax just on businesses, and so 9% is nothing in front of 33%. So I think even that still is making UAE, even if it's having some sort of a tax, it's still making it of an affordable solution.
Absolutely. And this is a win-win for government as well as investors, because as you rightly said, the average corporate tax in 180 jurisdiction is around 24%. In UAE, it is 9%, which is less than half of it. So, I mean, as you rightly said, New Zealand is having 33%, UK is having more than 25%, Finland is goes up to 50%.
Yes.
So 9% is nothing.
There is also another issue that a lot of companies in UAE are undergoing, which is their VAT refunds getting stuck for an unprecedented amount of time. I know of people, who haven't had refunds in 9, 10, 11 months. What is your advice to these firms? How should they perhaps plan their resources to sustain this period? And perhaps even why does it happen? Why does VAT refund get stuck for so long?
See, VAT refund is something, first of all, we have to understand it is a liability for the government. For the Federal Tax Authority, it is a liability. So they have to make the payment of it, and they would happily do it. I mean, why it has been stuck? Because of some errors, because of incorrect documentation provided to the FTA. So it is the responsibility of the taxable person to retain the right documentation, to submit the right VAT forms, refund. So there is a specific templates for VAT refund. There are specific documentation which needs to be provided to the FTA. If we are providing all those documentation and correct information, I mean, we have been successfully receiving refund for all our clients. We have received for even 5 million, 10 million refunds. And if we have the right, as I mentioned, then you will get it. You will get it. It will take some time because there's a due diligence by the FTA. It will take time up to 2 to 3 months. But you will ultimately get the VAT refund. I mean, they do not have an intention, FTA do not have an intention to hold the VAT refund. So we have to do our internal VAT health checkup and rectify all the errors and omissions before we submit the VAT refund. This is most critical aspect.
And I think this is where taking help of a good consultancy firm is important, because if you're actually doing it yourself, thinking, oh, you know what, it's just super simple, let me just download the template, fill in all the details and send it through. Especially when you have bigger claims which require better documentation, it's good to actually go through an agency.
No, absolutely right.
Yeah.
But see, submission of VAT refund is not complex. What is complex is the interpretation of the law and determining the right tax position. Correct. Which would be either standard rated, zero rated, exempt, supplies, or out of scope. That is the critical part. And then alignment of the financial statements with the VAT return that we have submitted. See, VAT refund, you have to fill the form, you have to, just submit the documentation that you already have. But you should know what are the forms, how we need to present those documentation to the FTA. But the most important aspect is the alignment of financial statements with the VAT reports, and having the accurate figures and tax position should be determined accurately.
Perfect. No, and absolutely right. I am now coming to the issue of compliance. As per a recent survey, we've come across a whooping number of 80% of people who are actually missing compliance deadlines.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
80%?
Yes, who are missing deadlines.
Okay.
Now, I want to know, how does Earningo ensure that its clients don't miss out their deadlines?
See, 80% is a huge number
huge
you are
number,
saying. In
yes.
our firm, we have touch wood, and fortunately, we have not missed any deadline because we have a system in place every month, first of every month, unless it is a weekend. We send an automated email to all our clients, whichever deadline is. It could be a VAT return deadline, it could be a audit deadline, it could be a ESR deadline, any compliance deadline. Now corporate tax will come already, for companies which were set up in June 2023, their deadline is December 31st, 2024 for CT. So we share automated emails to all our clients for the compliance deadline, and follow up by the reminders if we do not receive the information. So, compliance deadline is something you should always follow, because it will be a red flag in the system of the FTA when you will submit the return on the delayed parts.
Correct. So, carrying on for this, one thing that I have always admired about Earningo is your excellent system, your automations, your things in place. Can you tell us what all different kinds of automations and technical superiority you guys embedded in your firm that others could actually take inspiration from? How is it that your manager works so smoothly and seamlessly?
See, I have always believed, business is made up of two things. One is technology or automation, and second is marketing or business development. In the beginning, I mentioned we do not have any marketing person, but of course, for products and trading businesses, marketing is very essential. So these two factors are, and of course, third is the value addition, sustainable. Now, automation, what we are doing in terms of, first of all, we have, as I mentioned, this email automation. Then customer relationship management also. We have a software, CRM, wherein we get the pipeline from wherever. There are different sources of getting the pipeline, and then we keep a tab of the pipeline. So there are stages in the pipeline that, okay, this is a beginner stage, then in progress, whether we have submitted the proposal or not, what is the status of the follow-up, and then signing, and then what is the compliance deadline. So we have a tracker of the client, wherein each client has the specific compliance deadline and the nature of services, who is the execution team member, who is the partner in charge of that client. So these are some of the lists that we provide to the team members to get the execution. Other than that, we also have internally staff meetings are there, wherein we discuss the monthly plan. So it's not part of automation, but it's a practice wherein all the staff members submit the monthly plan, and along with the deviation in the previous month, that what they plan and how they have digressed from that plan, what are the reasons for not fulfilling the targets. So this is also one of the, not automation, but a practice we are doing. I think, so these are some of the strategies.
Best practices that you guys.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And of course, submission of the proposals and all that is automated, wherein we have a specific formats, we have to just change, and there are specific formats for each category of the services. So it could be for different, accounting, there are 5 categories, then taxation, there are 7 categories. So each category have subcategories as well. So we have to just replace the name, and then, of course, deciding on the scope of work if it varies.
See, I think that's what's admirable because, Chirag, I strongly believe in one thing, that goals fail and systems work.
Absolutely.
If you have built your systems to sustain your goals, you're going to be successful. If you try to do everything and you can't have everything customized. Let's also talk about now that in Dubai, we have an accounting firm at a stone's throw of a distance. There are so many accounting firms, tax firms, etc., that are there. Business setup companies are getting into accounting and so on. These people are getting into business setup, and also it's just like the market is very chaotic and saturated. There are also firms that are closing, that are not making profit, they're not sustaining. Tell me why, or maybe how can an accounting firm not make profit, and what are the reasons why such firms close down in Europe?
See, there could be various reasons, for closing down the business. The first could be increasing of the overheads at the initial stage. So whenever you start any business, you should keep your overheads as low as possible. And then when you have sustained a business for at least 1 year, then you can invest in the business. So many people, they do a mistake, a blunder, they invest seeking the expansion and growth in the first year itself, rather than they should wait and let's capitalize the customer.
Correct.
And then invest further after 2 years or maybe 3 or maybe 6 months. It depends. If you have customers in hand, then invest from the profit of the business, right? And then further do the hiring process, spend in technology, rather than investing everything in the first year.
Correct. Tell me a story of one such client of yours who has come to with a very grave situation, almost about to close down, not making profits, and how have you managed to help them turn around their business by sharing some of your winning strategies?
Okay. There are a lot of actually success stories. So one would be I would share regarding the litigation case wherein the client got the assessment from the FTA, and there were a lot of huge penalties were levied by the FTA because of some discrepancies during the assessment and audit process. And then they approached us that these are the reasons we have got the penalties, and then there is a litigation process, there is an appeal process with the FTA and with the Ministry of Justice. So we took up that assignment and understood what were the reasons behind the penalty levied by the FTA. Because when FTA audit conduct, they issue an assessment with the complete results of the audit, and that can be questionable as well. It's not that is the final verdict. We can question the FTA by appeal process. So we fought that case because there were some discrepancies which were actually incorrect, or which would actually we would appeal and get the the right application of the penalties. And we submitted, there are three appeal process. First is reconsideration, submission of reconsideration, then with the TDRC, Tax Dispute Resolution Committee, and then final with the court. So we submitted the first appeal, which is tax reconsideration. It got rejected. Then we submitted the same because our case was actually strong because we prepared everything, documentation, and there was some documentation that the client couldn't share during the process of the audit, and because of which they got the huge penalty. Then finally we got the case with the Ministry of Justice, which is Tax Dispute Resolution Committee, and it took roughly 9 to 10 months.
My goodness.
To get the the verdict from the Ministry of Justice. And for out of I think 8 to 9 is we won 6.
That's a very big
and the
number.
penalties got waived off, of course, and the VAT amount got waived off. So yeah, that was one of the success story. Recently it was there.
Goodness.
And apart from that, yes, we always minimize the tax exposure of our clients in a legally compliant manner. So that is success story with all our clients.
Correct.
Not one client.
Now I am coming to this point that intrigues me a lot about businesses is where they consider that accounting firms are only needed by the big firms. Not everybody needs an accounting firm. Okay. For smaller companies, they can just manage with Zoho Books, QuickBooks, Salesforce, Tally, and so on. We'll just have the software and stuff. Give me 3 reasons why is it important for SMEs or MSMEs to actually work with an accounting firm.
See, in UAE, if you see, there are SMEs. More than 65 to 70%, the SMEs are there.
Yeah.
But
And you have micro SMEs.
definition is also very big.
Yes.
It is small and medium enterprises, but if you have up to 50 people, you are not SME, you are micro
You're
SME.
micro SME. That's what I'm saying. We have micro SMEs, SMEs.
And then large corporates,
Of course.
right? So
Medium
for
and small,
SMEs,
large.
3 reasons. First of all, for the accuracy of the financial statements, so that you can take the right decision at the right time. which would ultimately lead to increase in the profitability and would enhance the growth dimension. That is very important. First, a second reason could be, see, when you are working as a small team, you don't have any expert team member who is expert in number game, right? So you need someone who can identify your KPI metrics, right? KPI metric or financial ratios and compare those with industry. For example, you are in a social media.
Correct.
Right? Now there are a lot of competition in the market. We would select few of your competitors and see what is their, percentage, gross profit percentage, net profit, their average collection period of debtors. All these ratios will calculate, compare with yours, where you are lacking. So this is also a part of a identification of KPI metrics and then providing the recommendations how to improve these financial ratios.
Correct.
So these two, I believe, are the most important. And you asked three. Third could be, I think, for of course compliance. Sometimes instead of giving money to the consultants, you lose money by in the form of penalties. In the 80% of the companies are not for, so in the form of late compliance deadlines, meeting the
So at least things are done systematically and properly.
Yeah.
At least there's someone to sit and guide you on profitability, how to price your services, how to grow, which markets to penetrate, and so on. I think if SMEs and even MSMEs can do that a lot earlier, they can save in so much time, money, efforts we usually waste in doing so much trial and error.
Absolutely. No, we get so many cases wherein we feel, oh my God, I wish you could have approached us earlier.
Yes.
If you do the cost benefit analysis, CBA, you will always find, the consultancy fees is easily compensated by the value addition.
100%.
I can say about our company that we
100%.
provide. So that is more important. I mean, if you are getting the value, you should not see the price point.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it is easily compensated by the value addition.
Yeah.
In the financial terms I'm talking about.
Of course. 100%. Okay. Now I'm coming to the exciting part of this session, which is a rapid fire. I'm going to be asking you questions. You need to, it's a this or that. So you choose one of them. Okay. Your favorite VAT or corporate tax?
Taxation.
Which of these?
Both. I mean, I cannot choose one.
Okay.
VAT came in 2018 introduction, now corporate tax. So, I mean, for me, this is our bread and butter. So I cannot choose one.
You can't choose. Okay, fine. So we'll get it. Automation of systems versus personalized touch for every client.
Automation of the systems.
Okay. Fast result or sustainable growth?
Sustainable growth. Because when I say sustainable growth, see, when we do a business, we should always think about 10, 15 years. We should not think about next year or 2 years down the line. We have to think about at least 10 years where we would be in next 10 years if we implement these strategies in the business right now.
Totally. I agree. And we talk about cost cutting as a measure to save on money and increase profitability as opposed to innovation.
See, cost cutting in the earlier phase of the business, and then you have sustained and have generated the retained earnings in the business, then innovation.
Perfect. Sounds good. Good answer. We look at pricing or are we looking at quality?
Quality. I mean, quality always.
Yes.
Always quality.
Are you looking for what's better? One-off big clients, retain a smaller size income, like per month.
So both could be retainer as well, right?
No, you sometimes have those one-off big deals.
One
and
transaction.
Then you have one transaction, and then you have the retainer things that the smaller ones.
Yeah,
that keep
retainer would be more beneficial because if you see the life value of that client, it would give you the more value.
Bigger value. Okay. All right. Let's talk about e-meetings versus face-to-face. What do you prefer?
I prefer face-to-face.
Correct. Okay. At this point in time, usually, Chirag, we ask our guests to tell us if there's one thing they could go about and change in their past, what would that be?
Okay. Interesting question. I mean, I have not thought about it. In the past, I would say marketing strategies we could have done in the, post-COVID, I would say, before the introduction of the corporate tax, which was in 2022, December. So that is something we could have done that, and maybe we would get more number of leads and conversion, because right now, as I mentioned, we are dependent on our reference from very few sources. But yeah, marketing strategy, I think we could have worked on that, and in future definitely we would work on those strategies, how to do business development, branding, to reach more potential clients and target audience. So that is something I think we have missed that in the past.
That's absolutely okay. Talk to me. This is my final question, and this is absolutely important for me because many people don't understand what a fractional CFO service means. And a lot of people think that CFO means we need to give them a lot of money, they need to come to our office, we need to hire them full time, and so on. Perhaps we don't need that. What do you do in a fractional CFO services?
So fractional CFO, the concept is when you do not have the capacity to hire a full-time CFO, wherein you would pay 100,000 dirhams or a salary of 1 million dirhams annually, you could hire a fractional CFO as and when needed, based on the customized and tailor made solutions.
Give me a little bit more insight into what is a fractional CFO service.
So fractional CFO, the concept comes when you do not have the capacity to hire a full-time CFO, wherein you would pay 1 million plus annual salary. So you can hire a part-time or a fractional CFO for the specific issues and the challenges and the pain points. So whenever we meet a client for specific CFO services, we always understand the pulse of the business. That is very important. Pulse of the business, understand the business, and then identify the challenges and the pain points. And based on which we tailor made our CFO services for that aspects or the financial services itself.
So you guys are known for under-promising and over-delivering. Your clients really rave about that. Next is the ethos of Earningo. It's like, even when you speak to any of your team members, they all have a similar value system and a vision base. Tell us more about what differentiates Earningo from the rest of its competitors, perhaps even many more cheaper competitors.
So as you said, ethos. See, we have two ethos. One of them you already said, under promise and over delivery. We firmly believe in this. I mean, we never commit something which we cannot do. And that is because that will give you a kind of a satisfaction, plus you will get the client faith and trust, which is the most important in our practice. Client relationship and trust. So under promise and over delivery, we strongly believe in that. And second ethos is sustainable value addition. As I mentioned earlier also, without value addition, you will not be able to retain the clients because the competition is cutthroat. So you have to get the innovative ideas to deliver the same report with different graphical presentation and KPIs of the clients, MIS reporting, management information system reporting. So always do the value addition in any service sector. I mean, the nature of services. It could be tax solution. When we are giving tax solution, we help our clients in reducing the tax exposure in a legally compliant manner. So which is anybody could save a lot of money with that. Then for accounting solutions, we always try to automate the accounting system of the client. Rather than hiring us for a longer period of time, we train the internal accountant and set initial automation features so that it could be run without the presence of the accountant, or 100% availability is required. So these are the value addition we always try to achieve, because without value addition, your business cannot sustain in this market. And pricing, you have to match with your value addition, right? The higher the valuation of your services or the value base that you are providing to the client, because I always believe we are there as a consultancy firm because of our clients. Clients are not there because of us.
That is true. That is so true.
For pricing, we should not be charged that price point, which will be burden for the client. So for example, if the client is a loss-making company, right? But they are huge. For example, a big brand, but they have opened in the UAE. There are a lot of companies, big names outside UAE. They have holding companies there. They have opened subsidiary now, but they have small budgets in the UAE region. We can't charge them considering they are a big company in the other part of the world or globally. So we have to see the profitability of the company to charge. I am not saying if you have higher profits, the prices will vary.
Sure.
But the purpose here is it should not be burden for the client. You have
Totally.
to consider that aspect as well.
It makes sense. Well, Chirag, it was such an amazing conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed. We discussed so many topics, right? From how do you manage your work and your family life, because they're also intertwined. Next, we talk about why do businesses make losses? Why do they close down? We talked about CFO services, taxation, UAE being a tax haven, still being a tax haven for a large part of the world. And of course, ending with the ethos of Earningo. I wish you all the best. And for all our viewers who are watching us, Chirag's details and the details of his company, Earningo Accounting and Tax Consultancy, have been put down in the description box below. Feel free to contact them for any of your tax, VAT, compliance, CFO service, or even getting some basic business guidance. If you're planning to open in Dubai, they're good people to even do some basic feasibility studies and take you through your journey. And for everyone else, please do follow them on Instagram and on LinkedIn. They'd be super happy. Thank you so much, Chirag.
Thank you so much, Diksha. It was my pleasure. I also enjoyed the whole show. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.